Hello, this is High Templar with my new Total War Warhammer Mechanics video, and today we'll be talking about the Glade Guards, basic range unit for the Wood Elves. And those guys were considered to be one of the worst range units, whereas the Wood Elves are supposed to be the best one. So, quick look at the stats. Right now the guys have range of 180 and missile damage of 23. It used to be 160 and 19 for armor piercing, which compared to the Peasant Bowman made them look pretty bad. Peasant Bowman has more ammunition, less range and less damage, but only by 1, but more men and greatly more health. 5200 on this unit, 46 only on the Wood Elf, on the Glade Guards. So the Peasant Bowman having more men, only 1 less damage, so they should be dealing more damage to more men and has more health. They should be getting out of this winning, unless the range will make such a great difference. However, the Wood Elves has fire on move, so that means they will fire right away after the initial contact. I mean, right away when those guys get into the range. And that is quite faster than any other unit in the game right now. The Peasant Bowman lost 2 guys. And the moment Peasant Bowman has released the Salva, they lost 4. That means they should be still dealing more damage than the Elves deal with their volley. So single volley from the Elves did right now, that's 600 damage. Sorry, 800 damage. 800 damage per single volley. How much single volley will deal to those guys? So that's it. That was entire volley. And as you can see, that is a lot less than 800. So what happened here? This is 3200, so basically what, 450, 440, something like that. That is almost twice less than the damage done by the Wood Elves per volley. And I don't actually mean anything else, just Wood Elves seem to be dealing more damage when the stats tells us they should be dealing less damage, and this is accuracy. Accuracy for the Elves unit. Also, there might be some splash attack effect. When I see those arrows flying here, they seem to be doing something more, but the accuracy for this unit is so amazing. Also, there is a huge difference in the morale, obviously. Leadership for those units very, very different. Those guys will retreat way faster. So on the bigger range, the Wood Elves will be absolutely devastating to any unit. But you see that the balance of power was in my favor from the very start. So let's make it more... allow me to control actually the Peasant Bowman and to have more balance in the battlefield, to see who will actually have an upper hand when it comes to morale. Because obviously those guys would run away, right? They could not win against the Lord and the Glade Guards, more expensive unit. So let's see it right now. We have a leadership buffed by the Lord, 44 compared to the 68. Yes, that's 68. And we will see what will be happening right now. My Peasant Bowmen are coming close. They were, however, attacked also by the Glade Lord, which is breaking the test. But as you can see, after the first salva, their health is melting pretty quickly, and the morale, they will run away, even though the Lord is supporting them. And the Glade Guards can fire while moving, so that means they can run after you and shoot you, and they have a speed of 35, which is impressive. Yeah, but that was not a very good test. I would make a better test if I could, but No Lord's Necessary mod is not yet updated for the Wood Elves, So that's why the problems. Let's test them against the best range unit in the game so far, the Quarrelers. They've done amazingly well against any unarmored unit, dealing enormous damage, even though those guys are, less in numbers than, say, Imperial crossbowmen. But they are so resistant. 4,500 and a half health, but those guys have so much armor on them, and amazing leadership also. Alice obviously firing the first volley. And from the distance, dwarves doesn't really stand a chance against those guys. However, the AI knows that. As you can see, the damage on the dwarves is huge right now, and that is mostly hit point damage. So the dwarves will be firing and moving away. Moving closer, We could be mimicking that and moving away, and that would be the only way to deal with those guys. But if we don't do that, the Quarrelers have shields, so that means the closer we are getting, the accuracy will be better for the dwarves, and as you can see, that game is over. Without that much damage, actually, on the dwarf side, only 12 guys dead, but this is the number of men. But the health loss was quite substantial, actually. That was quite substantial. They just didn't die because of the armor. The Woodles dealt a lot smaller wounds that were more distributed around every unit there. So, how about Night Goblins? Night Goblins would be a tricky test because Night Goblins don't really want to behave the way they, should be. But the Night Goblins do have poison damage. There is more of them, a lot more of them than the Glade Guards. They are dealing a lot less damage from a lot less range. But we won't be able to see them until they are pretty close. However, the AI, when he's playing the goblins, decided not to fire at the Wood Elves. Instead, charge at them. And they have a leadership of 36, so yeah, that is going to happen. First salva, dealing very little deaths, but quite some health damage. And then the second salva. And as you can see, because those guys cannot shoot while running, the AI will unfortunately be very bad at this. And the Woodles can shoot at them even more. So we cannot really determine that well. Or can we? Excuse me, there is quite a number of tests I do have on my machine. Actually, I'm copying them. There is more than 500 tests that I actually saved, not counting the ones that I didn't, that are not present in this directory. I probably have like 200 more in this directory, but I'm digressing. Now I am controlling the elves, and the goblins, and look what will happen right now. The Glade Lord, those guys are firing at my Lord, allowing me to actually come closer and start firing at them. But right now there will be an exchange between the Wood Elves and the goblins. Now mind you, single salva from the goblins dealt quite substantial damage, right? That was a single salva dealing, almost every goblin was here, and that was more than 600 damage, so yeah. Now let's see what will happen right now. That was a shot from this guy, from the Glade Lord, and he did kill 5 guys with single shot, dealing very little damage, health damage, but everyone that he's targeting is dead. The elves are starting to fire upon the archers, but it seems that the archers are actually doing pretty well. It's 8 versus 17, 12 versus 17, even including Glade who killed 9. It seems that the Night Goblin archers are doing quite well. Obviously they will run, but health-wise they are dealing more damage than the Wood Elves. How that's possible? Well, first it's the range. It is pretty great for the Wood Elves when they can target unit that is far away, but those guys have a stalking and they are not visible from far away. When they are visible, the range is pretty close and their accuracy is not that much important. Secondly is obviously the poison. The poison will decrease damage and accuracy and another stuff actually. So, sorry, not accuracy, but the speed, vigor and missile damage. But the missile damage is important one for those guys. And there is a lot more of them, 120 versus 80. So that's 50% more. And that will deal some damage, especially if they can fire first. And they can fire first possibly because of the stalk. So, mind you when you are fighting, even though right now those guys will be focusing on my lord and they are running away, but as you can see, this is a battle that we could possibly win with the Goblin archers, and this is surprising. However, like I said, this is only when we will catch those guys by surprise. If they catch us from the open field from far away, those goblins will be very, very dead. Now, let's see how those guys will face Imperial crossbows, and this will be almost the last but one really test. Imperial crossbows versus the Glade guards. Let's see this happening. Again, crossbows has 90 men. They already got single salva. They used to have 90 men, now they have 88. They do 21 missile damage at 160, so pretty similar damage to those guys, but less than the peasant bowmen. However, those guys have higher leadership, or they used to before the salva. They have pretty decent speed and decent stats in melee. However, they cannot really stand to the Wood Elves from this distance, which is 160. The crossbowmen, even though there used to be 88 for this first salvo, now is 80, are not dealing that much damage. Yes, some elves are dying, but as you can see, it's not going very well for the crossbows. And when the fight pretty much ended, it's 39 versus 9, and the health damage is quite obviously in favor of the elves, although they did start with much less health. So maybe those elves are not so bad after all, right? People complain that they are worse than peasant bowmen. No, they aren't. They are, however, more expensive, mind you. If you focus a lot of peasant bowmen on those guys, or if you will be able to get close, they will shatter. And the crossbowmen, however, will never win against those guys. Never, ever, ever. However, there is one more ability that makes although test doesn't actually make those guys that great. They make them very decent, but they are not making them great. What is making them great is fire while moving, and this is something that allows them to fire while you are running, fire while you are turning, which allows them to fire a lot faster against the enemy and then run away and fire against at the enemy, and also chase the enemy and fire them, which is extremely important in the multiplayer battles. Right now, let's see what will happen. So I'm firing, retreating, firing, retreating, And those great swords have very decent armor, but they can't really do anything about that. They only have a speed of 28, whereas my guys have 35. And even better if you are able to kite them through the forest. I wasn't able to, I could have, but I missed that opportunity to get them through the forest. But as you can see, right now we will make a salva and then run away. And now what will happen? Those guys will move a lot slower for a few moments, which will allow me to get some more space and then destroy them basically. And it would be even easier to do that in the woods. Obviously you won't hit every unit in the woods, but lighter woods will allow you to destroy your enemies pretty quickly indeed. And if you are shooting from the very close, even the dense wood will not be as much of a problem, because those guys will never be able to catch you. So we destroy the unit of greatswords, heavily armored unit with normal Glade guards. And that was pretty much it. I hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos. In Total War Warhammer I do DLC analysis and mechanics videos, but I also do Let's Plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.